Hi, my name is Michelle Fioretti, and for my project, Do You Need It or Were You Influenced? I've decided to talk about the issues with overconsumption. My project is on the level of personal activism, so I'll be explaining the steps I have made to limit my consumption. Overconsumption is defined as when people consume more resources than they need or than the earth can provide them. This topic isn't only important to me in this specific time, but also important for how I'll live my life in the future. Shopping and overconsuming have become so normalized and way too easy to be achieved. I'll admit I'm part of the problem because I'll buy things unnecessarily just because I want the newest and latest version. Thinking on the ways I live and consume things doesn't make me feel great, which is why I would like to do something about it. Overconsumption has societal, economical, and environmental issues at stake and will only continue to increase due to the growing of social media and exposure. Based on the article, How Overconsumption Affects the Environment and Health, Seth Milstein says we're consuming the planet's resources 1.7 times faster than they can regenerate, meaning we'd need 1.7 Earths to sustain our current levels of consumption. I think I can speak for a lot of people that on just about every app you go on, someone is trying to sell you something in a very convincing way, and what makes it easier is that you can purchase it with just a single swipe. An article written by Kelberg states that personal character traits such as ignorance, gluttony, and apathy are at the base of environmentally harmful behaviors. And as someone who has partook in overconsumption and environmental negativities, I find it disheartening to hold those character traits. In my opinion, I think that overconsumption and hoarding are synonymous, but because of the effects of social media, only one of them is glamorized. The alignment of my project to the Earth Charter is based on Pillar 2, Ecological Integrity, Principle 7, adopt patterns of production, consumption, and reproduction that safeguard Earth's regenerative capacities, human rights, and community well being. The idea of this project to me is for self improvement to benefit the way that I live and the sustainability of the Earth. It's also for my bank account to save money and to find dual purposes for the objects I use to replace having to buy single use objects. The objectives I have completed for this project have been done individually, but I have also implemented some of the objectives within my family and friends. For myself, I have donated 5 bags of clothes and shoes, disabled my credit card from all my shopping apps to decrease the accessibility of purchasing things so easily. Instead of buying new books, I've been renting them from the library, and I found alternative uses for things that claim to be single use. To begin the process of underconsumption, I knew I needed to start in my room because that's where I have the most items. I began with my dresser, specifically my t shirt drawer, and I got rid of 30 out of 38 t shirts that I had. I knew I'd have a hard time parting with my t shirts because a lot of them are memorabilia, but what purpose do they serve if they're forever folded up in my dresser? Once I was complete with that, I moved on to my closet. I gave myself a rule that if I haven't worn it in 3 months, it deserves to be worn by someone else. By doing this, I filled up 5 bags of clothes and shoes and brought them to my local Goodwill for donation. After I finished with my room, I informed my mom on what I was doing, and that is when she decided she wanted to join me on this journey. For week 8, we spent many hours going through all her clothes, shoes, and accessories. She applied the same 3 month rule to herself and was able to fill more than 3 bags of clothes. For week 9, my mom and I went through other rooms in the house and started collecting unnecessary items that don't serve us a purpose anymore. This would either be duplicate kitchen utensils, board games we don't play anymore, and books that have been read and piled. We took many more trips to donation centers and also made a pit stop at the library where I purchased a library card. Books typically only have a single use purpose unless you reread them many times, but that isn't the case for me. After successfully decreasing the amount of things that I have, I decided to disable all the cards from each of the app that they were connected to. Online shopping makes purchasing things so easy once your card is attached, but without having the card attached, it adds extra steps. Those extra steps may give you the time to realize that you don't actually need the items. A small but effective way I've implemented this with my friends is that we all swapped Halloween costumes from previous years so that none of us needed to buy new ones. Results that I've received from this project is saving a lot of money and feeling refreshed as I walk around my uncluttered room. The air feels lighter, and the objects and clothes I kept feel much more important. I've also saved a lot of time getting ready because I have less outfits to choose from. It's a good feeling knowing that the objects that I've been laying around my house collecting dust will now serve its intended purpose for a different family, or that the books I was holding on to for decorations around my room will now be opened again for someone else to enjoy. Addressing overconsumption is crucial to ensure a sustainable future where resources are preserved, ecosystems thrive, and the need of both present and future generations are met.